guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in to another video. So I'm here to tell you guys I finally passed my test, and it was a nightmare. Yes, a nightmare. It literally took several times to pass this test. Like the first 3 times I took the test, I didn't study because I'm already licensed in New Jersey. So I thought that it was like going to be similar to New Jersey in a sense. I know about being a buyer's agent, a seller's agent. I know contracts. So I took it and I failed. I took it the second time and I failed. I took it a third time and I'm like, okay, I got it. I know this. And I failed. So then the 4th time I took this test, I did decide to study, but I skimmed the book or the important chapters that you need to study. And I was like, I already know this stuff. It's easy. And then I failed. And then I took it a 5th time. But prior to taking it the 5th time, I studied a little bit more. And I was like, okay, like I definitely need to study. Little did I know I failed again, and I'm like getting frustrated at this point because I'm like, there's no way that everything I studied, I don't know, like why isn't it resonating? So I talked to friends who were already licensed in PA. What am I doing wrong? The 6th time I took this test, I got a 26 out of 30, and I'm like, okay, I'm right there. So I scheduled it again. 7th time I took this test. I'm like, I got this. Now I study the details in the book. They literally ask you on the test, like how many days a licensee decides to change brokerage, commission need to be notified. As simple as that question, you think, oh, I know it, but I knew it only after reading the book. If you're not paying attention to the content in the book, you may miss something. When I started studying, I was just reading. I was missing small things like, oh, you have to let the commission know 10 days after you decide you change your brokerage. That was something small that you needed to know. The 8th time comes, I know it. I failed the test again with a 24 out of 30. I started to realize the tests are not the same. The first 7 times I was taking it online with some similar questions, but they all weren't the same. So I was like, I got frustrated. I started to cry because right here I'm at a 26 out of 30, and most people would have gave up at the 3rd or the 2nd chance. But for me, I was very determined to pass this test. You're not going to tell me I'm not passing this test. And I started to feel like I'm not smart enough. My studying habits are wrong. Like so many emotions were crossing my mind when taking this test that it just started to mess with my confidence. I'm not the best test taker, but I knew taking the test 8 times, that just wasn't normal. I continued on. I took it the 9th time and I took it the 10th time. At this point, I'm just like done. And it wasn't until I talked to my boyfriend, a few of my friends, and they're like, listen, keep taking this test until you pass it. So by the 10th time, I mean, I'm starting to know this test because I've seen so many of the questions. They are all starting to look familiar. And then I even started like doing a process of elimination, A, B, C, and D. And I would eliminate the ones that I thought were completely wrong, had nothing to do with the question. Like I literally started to break down the test while taking the test. Well, time 10, when I took this test, I really just started to explode. I started crying. I started being stressed. At this point, I'm licensed in New Jersey, so I stopped making phone calls. I stopped doing open houses. I literally stopped everything because I was just tied up in taking this test. So a couple of my colleagues were just like, just take it one more time, and if you don't pass it, move on. You're literally stopping your business. So I decided to just rest. Maybe a week after time 10, taking that test, and I just really cracked down and studied. I reached out to colleagues in my office. They gave me their studying advice, their tools, what they thought was most helpful. And this is where it got bad. I took this test for the 11th time. People at the office, they already know me. I'm silly. So they're like, Miss Adams, I need you to go in there with a positive attitude And I was just like, okay. Went in there and it came out, and the lady was like, I'm not even going to chew you up today because let you just like take this one on the chin. When I looked at my test results, I got a 29 out of 30. I literally walked out of the office, started crying, and the lady, she was like, Miss Adams, I just couldn't believe it because I'm like, I'm right there. Time after time after time after time after time. Taking this test, you would have thought like, I knew it by now. They're going to name this test after me, Amelia Adams Real Estate Test, because just so many times of taking this test, it just really put a damper on me. So let me just try one more time. One more time. I got this. I went into that office and I said to them, this is the last time you're going to see me. And they're like, Miss Adams, we don't have time for your stuff today. We're not dealing with you. Went in there. I put the timer on my test. I went through all the questions that I already knew, hands down. Like, I know these questions. 5 questions I didn't know. So I said, all right, let me go back to the ones I didn't know. I did a process of elimination. So I reread the questions. And I was like, this is the answer. So I went back from question 1 all the way to 45. And I slowly reread all the questions to make sure the answers were what they were supposed to be. And they were, and I kept going and going and going and going and going. And in my gut, I was like, God, this is it. Like, I'm going to pass this test. I clicked submit. And of course, some time went by. And boom, I passed the test. I had passed the test and I was so happy. And I came out and I was smiling and I was like, I told you guys you wasn't going to see me anymore. 2 ladies that were there, they gave me a hug, congratulations. It was just a moment of joy, a moment of gratitude, a moment of success. I literally started walking up to people and told them that I was a PA real estate agent. Everybody in my family, my friends were super excited and happy for me. It took me 12 times to pass this test. So if I have any advice for anyone that is taking the PA exam, study, you can DM me or hit me up here, drop your questions down below. If you have any questions, comments, issues, or concern, I'll be glad to help because the test is still fresh in my mind. Don't give up. Like, I'm a living proof that taking this test 12 times, you can do it. I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid. I'm not embarrassed. I passed. So I hope this video helps. I hope it inspires somebody out there to keep reaching for your goals. Don't ever quit, no matter what people say. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to my video. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.